Hello, it's Nikki. Today I'm talking about speaking, and I'm going to give you a behind the scenes insight as to why I think it can be brilliant if you are a business owner, if you are a freelancer, because there are so many opportunities out there. And I want to give you a real life example of how it has helped my business and some takeaways for you and hopefully get the ideas stirring. If you want further support, I can do a strategy session and help you map out your speaker's portfolio. Or if equally you just want to do Speak Up, the online course, you can find details to it on my website in my shop. So 5 years ago, January 2019, I was pregnant with my daughter, and I was very much still in that pre-12 weeks scenario. So I hadn't really told people. I'd had to tell a couple of people because I was really sick and basically couldn't hide it. So I had told a few people, but I was very much undercover. And I knew that she was going to be born in August. Well, that was my due date. I actually didn't know. Oh, I did know. No, I didn't know she was a girl at that stage. Anyway, so I could sort of see what the next 9 months were going to look like in my business. And actually, I didn't know what they were going to look like. I just had a sense of what I would need to do in order to be in the position that I wanted to be in August. So in terms of client work, this is all pre-COVID, by the way. So, we had freedom and we could go places. So I was doing a lot of VIP days. I was doing a lot of strategy sessions. They've always been like the bread and butter of my business for 11 years now. And the speaking was something that I was being asked about more and more so. And this was a revelation to me. So I am a trained actress. I went to drum school in 2000, and I also was that person as a kid and a teenager who was on stage a lot or would be asked to say a few words or whatever it might be. So public speaking has always been part of my life. And yes, at times it's felt harder than others and you have to build that muscle, but I know that I can do it and I know I can deliver on it. And when I was thinking about things that I could do in my pregnancy, I was thinking about what I would be able, I guess my main thing at that stage was, how can I not leave my house for too long? And I mean, wow, what a goal, hey. But I literally was so ill. And I think as the time went on, as the months went on, something's playing on my computer. As the time went on, as the months went on, that sense of, oh my goodness, I hope I'm going to be all right and be able to get through this was definitely in the back of my mind. So what I begun to do was to do these mini workshops that I would share. So essentially I was speaking, I was hosting workshops, and people would come. And I did these things on a lunchtime. They were something like 25 quid, and I would teach on a particular topic or subject. And it was really hard to get the kind of numbers that I wanted to have. And also, given the amount of marketing and time and effort to put something together, I would come away feeling like I'd earned like 11p or something. And I really loved doing them. I loved that interaction with people. They would always be really engaging. I loved being able to help people. And I was still willing to keep giving them a go and keep doing that because I was getting really great feedback from it. And I think sometimes we all go through these phases of having to make these decisions where on one hand, it maybe doesn't make financial sense, but then on the other, you're really enjoying it and helping people and all of that. And then as the year went on, I began to be invited to do lots more speaking gigs. And the arrangement, and I guess this is what it still is that I would get an inquiry of, we've seen this video of yours, or we're familiar with your work, or so-and-so recommended you. We are looking for this kind of talk at this event. These are the dates. Are you available? Let's have a chat if you would be open to that. And if the availability worked, if everything felt, good at that initial stage, I would always take the call, take the meeting, and we'd go from there. So in terms of timing, somebody coming to me with that request. Now, this is a tricky thing as well in terms of quantifying the timing, because also I've been online for many, many years and really honing my craft essentially. So it's difficult to be able to say like, oh, it's only 5 minutes, because the amount of free work that I've done over the years is too much to bear, to be honest. But anyway, I'm just kind of doing it in its simplest terms. So I hope you understand. So maybe 5 minutes for me to read through the email. Let's say 15 minutes to read through the email, do my own research, work through things, and then draft a response going back. So say that's 15 minutes. And then 15 minutes for a call and to go through things. And then once things are confirmed, there would be some amount of prep. So maybe that would be, I don't know, anything from half an hour to 3 hours. And I would always include that in, and this is definitely something to consider, I would always include that in my final fee. So when we're talking about speaking, we're not just talking about the hour that you're speaking. You really have to see it as a package, because if you're putting together all of this stuff and research and all the rest of it, that is part of that individual experience and talk and invoice. So I would then do my prep, and that was great because I would be able to do it from home in my own time and flexibly. And then the speaking situation could be anything from, I don't know, an hour to 2 hours. And then depending on where it was, sometimes it was online, so even better. And then I would have travel. So certainly when I was pregnant, I'd usually get a cab and get things sort of organised in that way. So I was there in the quickest way, but also like public transport is literally at the end of my road. So, I would get on a bus and a tube. It's not that I'm like, oh, I'd never do that. I absolutely would. So when I'm looking at what is required of me in that moment, in terms of speaking, is that everybody else in that arrangement has done all of the other things. The only thing that I need to do is to show up and be a speaker. And also they have much more flair and expertise into bringing the amount of people into a room. They are marketing experts. They have built a community. They've got contacts. They know how they want the chairs. They're doing all of those things. And this really changed my business and changed my output on things. Now, since that time, over the last 5 years, I've done quite a number of events myself. However, I do prefer to just be hired externally to go and deliver, because it's such a better use of my time and therefore the income that I can generate in that time, because I am spending that time being in my zone of genius, as Gay Hendricks would say, and really doing what I'm supposed to be doing in the best possible way. I am not supposed to be an event organizer. I'm okay with technology, but it's not the thing that like wakes me up in the morning. I want to be there with people, supporting people, walking people through processes, feeling that energy when people leave the room going, oh my gosh, I know now what to do. This is exciting. And so if you are somebody that has maybe not considered speaking before, but you know you have things to share, you know that you have rooms, there are rooms rather, where you could really contribute, where you could really help people, do have a look at my speaking offerings, because once again, once you've created your package, once you've cracked that, which of course is some time, initially getting everything up to standard and to a place where it's ready to be marketed. But once it's done, I don't think it's going to change that much. And then you can just get hired for these things. And again, it's one of those things. Once you do one, you'll be invited to do another. And it's all great. It is a really brilliant thing. So I hope that has been useful. I will leave the links. Send me questions about speaking. If you've got thoughts, you've got feelings about it, if you're not sure if it would work in your industry or where to start, let's begin that conversation and get you speaking and get you paid as well. All right, lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon.